All righty. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome, one, and welcome all to the Junk Shop Library channel, home of Improv Bible Study, the Atheist Bible Study, where we read every word of the King James Bible and then rip at the new asshole it deserves for being an outdated, misogynistic pile of Bronze Age superstitious crap. If that sounds appealing to you, stick around. Consider hitting that thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. We're in a drive to reach the 250 subscriber mark by the end of the month. Thank you so much, one, and thank you so much, all. All righty, I see the chat filling up. We've got all manner of fantabulous people here with us today. Appreciate y'all for coming out for Improv Bible Study this afternoon, or this evening, or this morning, or whatever it is, whenever the hell you're watching this. And if you're watching in the future, welcome to you as well. How's the future? Are we out of the COVID mess yet? How far in the future are you watching? Let me know in the comments below. All righty, let's see. Do we have any announcements today? Today is the 7th, Monday, December the 7th. That weekend passed us by in the blink of the proverbial eye, and we're into another week. How are y'all doing? I'm hanging in there, y'all. I've got my coffee. I've got my Bible. I'm ready to go. In terms of announcements, we're back on the regular schedule once again. We'll be congregating again for Improv Bible Study on Wednesday and on Friday of this week at the same time, 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing our mental health positivity hangout on Thursday at the same time, 3 p.m. Eastern. And on Saturday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, we'll be having only the second installment of the new series here on the channel, An Atheist Reads the Book of Mormon. I'm exposing myself to this weirdness for the very first time, and so far, it's hysterical. Oh, technically, it is hilarious. I am hysterical. But colloquially, it is hysterical. This show would not be possible without the support of the fantastic people you see listed below. These are my Patreon patrons, the folks who have run over to patreon.com/junkshoplibrary, and for as little as $1 a month, pledged their financial support in addition to giving their moral support to and their feedback on the channel. These are the folks that are keeping us on the air right now. Our unlimited StreamYard is courtesy of them. Our lights and our sound and our camera are courtesy of them, and it's due to their contributions and that of an anonymous donator who wishes to stay that way that we were able recently to upgrade the hardware. Got a whole new computer and now don't spend half of our lives junk shopping. If you don't know what junk shopping is, you can run over to the Urban Dictionary and look it up. Junk shopping. It's in there. All right. In particular, support for this show is provided in part by my illuminated manuscript and genuine calfskin patrons. These folks at the top 2 tiers have chipped in more than I ever expected, and It blows my mind. Illuminated Manuscript patron Captain Kimothy, and Genuine Calfskin patrons Paul Camish and Bill M. These folks, y'all blow my mind. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of y'all, but in particular, thanks to my amazing top-tier patrons. It's time to check in with the chat. I got to see who's here with us live. We've got the Lavender Lady, the ever fabulous Diana is here with us. We've got a bit of tea and Danish all the way from the future. How you doing today? Mr. Nielsen as well, getting ready to engage drive mode and be very safe on his way to his place of employment. How are you doing today, my friend? My wonderful wife, Julie LaVoice, is in the chat. Thank you for the update on Joel, whose last name I do not know, from Nigeria, whose safety IAA was raising funds to secure earlier in the day. Special thanks to Seth Andrews for using his platform to bring that issue to our collective notice. God of the Sewing is in the chat. Hey, how you doing today? Lone Wanderer's Bunker. Good to see. 404. You have found us. Damn you. Greg Hartwick, a new friend of the channel. Good to see you as ever. Fantastic. Amiga Nuts, the man with the links, is here. Lovely, lovely. Another new friend of the channel, Jesus Wizard Spatula. Good to see you, you peculiarly named person, you. All right, and Amiga Nuts is dropping everybody's links in the chat. Everybody make sure you're subscribed to everybody else. The community builds when the community builds itself. Geo Sam, hey, how's it going, man? Inquisitive Quandary, lurking, not lurking, and now lurking again. Hope you are doing well today, my mobile watching friend. Aunt Jur, good to see you. I think you just missed me calling out the Urban Dictionary representation of the channel, who I hear I have you to thank for. You weirdo, you. All right. Well, we're in the book of Isaiah right now. We've been working on this for almost 2 solid years, y'all. Believe it or not, it'll be 2 years next month that we've been working our way through the King James Bible. And today we turn to the book of the prophet Isaiah. For those of you following along at home in your pew Bibles or on your pew websites, as the case may be, we are starting today with chapter 19. Sounds more impressive than it is because there's 66 books in the book of the prophet Isaiah. Great koogly moogly. All right. Let's see what we got here today. So far, Isaiah has been prophesizing death, destruction, and baby murder upon the enemies of Israel. I don't know what we're in for today, but we're soon to find out. Hey, y'all, look at what I found. 19. The burden of Egypt. Oh, dear. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fall in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. And the waters shall fail from the sea, and the river shall be wasted and dried up. And they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be emptied and dried up. The reeds and flags shall wither. The paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither, be driven away, and be no more. The fishers also shall mourn, and all they that cast angle into the brooks shall lament, and they that spread nets upon the waters shall languish. Moreover, they that work in fine flax, and they that weave networks shall be confounded, and they shall be broken in the purposes thereof, all that make sluices and ponds for fish. Surely the princes of Zoan are fools. The counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh is become brutish. How say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of ancient kings? Where are they now? Where are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know what the Lord of hosts hath purposed upon Egypt. The princes of Zoan are become fools. The princes of Noph are deceived. They have also seduced Egypt, even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work in Egypt which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. In that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it. And the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Every one that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself, because of the counsel of the Lord of hosts, which he hath determined against it. In that day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt speak the language of Canaan, and swear to the Lord of hosts, one that shall be called the day of destruction. In that day shall there be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border thereof unto the Lord. And it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto the Lord of hosts in the land of Egypt. For they shall cry unto the Lord because of the oppressors. And he shall send them a Savior, and a great one, that he shall deliver them. And the Lord shall be known in Egypt, and the Egyptians shall know the Lord in that day, and shall do sacrifice and oblation. Yea, they shall vow a vow unto the Lord, and perform it. And the Lord shall smite Egypt. He shall smite and heal it. And they shall return even to the Lord, and he shall be entreated of them, and shall heal them. In that day shall there be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria, and the Assyrian shall come into Egypt, and the Egyptian into Assyria, and the Egyptians shall serve with the Assyrians. In that day shall Israel be the third with Egypt and with Assyria, even a blessing in the midst of the land, whom the Lord of hosts shall bless, saying, Blessed be Egypt, my people, and Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel, mine inheritance. And there we have chapter 19. All righty. Come on, bookmark. There we go. So, Egypt's going to get their ass smoked. They're going to get smoked so hard, they're going to be like unto women. Here comes the misogyny. That didn't take long. Welcome to the Old Testament, motherfuckers. This is not sponsored content, by the way. That's just the cup that I happen to have. We ran out of coffee here in the library, and we had to go retrieve some more. Hey, Mark Caesar, how's it going? And never again, welcome aboard. Good to see y'all as ever. You missed the smiting. You missed the smiting. All right, so Egypt is going to get smoked. And then they're going to repent of their evil ways and turn unto the Lord. And they're going to be healed and raised back up to their former international trade destination-y glory. And Israel is going to be raised up even unto them and Assyria. And they're going to join together as three great trading partners along a highway. And the wealth will pass through from one to another. Well, that's the first one of these. Why am I doing this the weird way? Y'all give me 1 second. Why is Junk Shop doing something the weird way? Well, that's never happened before, has it? So, there we are. That's better. Get your improv Bible study mug at the link in the, not the comments below, but the description below. Two-sided. All right. So that's the first time that has occurred. We've been working our way in the book of Isaiah through a list of the enemies of Israel. And each one has had the prophecy laid against it that it's going to get smote, and smote hard. Even down unto the fruit of the womb are they going to get smoked and slaughtered and bashed and shit. This is Egypt, though, is the first one where a prophecy has been laid upon it that it's going to get smote and then resurrected. I wonder why. That's not a rhetorical question laid up for some piece of knowledge I've retained from my Sunday school and church and days. I just don't fucking know. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, really and truly. Egypt has been laid out as a great enemy of the children of Israel. Lo, these many moons in this book. And there's not, hadn't been a lot of redeeming features. I mean, going all the way back to Yahweh's floating lamp days when there were, when Abraham got all caught up on his scheme to escape getting murdered by passing his wife off as his sister and marrying her off to the Pharaoh. There's been the relationship between Israel and Egypt has been fairly fraught since before Israel was Israel. Fairly fraught being a pretty severe understatement, I will confess. So I don't understand why Israel's gonna, or Israel, Egypt is going to get brought back to life and restored to its former glory as a great international trade destination. And apparently Assyria too, because the talk of the highway between Israel, dag-nabbit shit, between Egypt and Assyria. And there's no point in running a highway from a great trading power to a hole in the ground that was left after getting smoked by the Almighty. So apparently Assyria is going to be... no, it was Babylon. Sorry, it was Babylon that was going to be destroyed utterly. We hadn't talked about a burden against Assyria yet. This is a very strange book, and I can't make any heads nor tails of it in this particular portion. Chapter 20. Chapter 20. Chapter 20. In the year that Tartan came unto Ashdod, when Sargon the king of Assyria sent him, and fought against Ashdod, and took it, at the same time spake the Lord by Isaiah the son of Amoz, saying, Go, and loose the sackcloth from off thy loins, and put off thy shoe from thy foot. And he did so, walking naked and barefoot. And the Lord said, Like as my servant Isaiah hath walked naked and barefoot 3 years for a sign and wonder upon Egypt and upon Ethiopia, so shall the king of Assyria lead away the Egyptians, prisoners, and the Ethiopians, captives, young and old, naked and barefoot, even with their buttocks uncovered, to the shame of Egypt. And they shall be afraid and ashamed of Ethiopia their expectation, and of Egypt their glory. And the inhabitant of this isle shall say in that day, Behold, such is our expectation, whither we flee for help to be delivered from the king of Assyria, and how shall we escape? And that's all there is to chapter 20. Okay, well, you remember back a while ago when Isaiah was told by God to make a person with a long and unpronounceable name, so he went in unto the prophetess and made one and named him that long unpronounceable name? And I mentioned that that would not be the last time a prophet was instructed to do something batshit in order to be a metaphor or an object lesson for the people of Israel or for some other. Well, poor old Isaiah, son of Amoz, sitting at home, minding his own damn business, having just laid out the burdens against all these various surrounding nations. And God comes to him. It doesn't say with a voice in his head or a voice in the wind or a dream in his sleep or as an angel knocking on the door. It doesn't say. The word of the Lord comes to him and says, Hey, yo, take off all your clothes and walk around naked. So Isaiah, being the grown-up rational adult that he is, listens to the voice that he's heard, strips naked, and proceeds to wander about. Starkers! for 3 fucking years. After 3 years have gone by, the Lord gives him another word to say to the people. Poor Isaiah been wandering around the burning-ass desert, TM. Get your burning-ass desert TM merch at the link in the description below. Gotta grind, y'all. Gotta hustle. Y'all know how it is. Oh, Lavender Lady's getting all ambitious. Thinks we may hit Isaiah 53 in time for Saturnalia. I'd be astounded. Absolutely fucking astounded. But who knows? Stranger things have happened. All right. So, Isaiah, having heard a voice tell him to strip bare-ass naked and wander around that way, doesn't think to ask for how long. Nor does it at any point occur to him to put his shoes or his loincloth back on. He just proceeds to wander around the burning-ass desert, TM, butt-ass naked, until he hears something else. Imagine that, wandering around under the burning-ass desert TM sun for 3 fucking years in the Middle East, and he starts hearing voices again. Can you imagine the look on his face? He's been wandering around Starkers for 3 years, and the Lord comes to him again and says, "Hey, buddy, I've got something else I want you to do." I've got a sunburn on my dick. What more do you want from me? And he says, I want you to go tell everybody that just exactly as naked ass as you've been wandering around getting a name for yourself the last 3 years, that's how naked ass the Egyptians are going to be carried away into captivity by the Assyrians. And Isaiah, his response goes unrecorded. But you can imagine him turning unto the Lord of hosts in whatever incarnation the Lord of hosts is deemed fit to appear to him, and says, I'm not exactly overburdened at this point by the amount of credibility under the weight of which I am staggering. Because I've been wandering around the burning-ass desert, TM, for the last 3 fucking years. In case you hadn't noticed, I've got a sunburn on my dick. Mr. I am that I am. Easy enough for you to fuck off to the other end of the known universe for 3 goddamn years, Mr. My soon is not your soon. You could have made your soon a little more like my soon, hopefully at some point before I got a sunburn on my dick. I mean, yes, Jehovah, of course. Let me get right on that. Do you mind if I put on a loincloth before I go into the city and start prophesizing to them again? Jesus Christ. Hey, Wonder Lady, you picked a hell of a time to come in. Harmonica Man, how's it going? Okay. So he goes. Whether or not he puts on at least a loincloth and or sandals first is not recorded, because apparently that's not deemed important. Imagine it was important to him, but apparently it's not important for our purposes here. And you thought to go dig under a rock and pull up some ancient gold CDs from the Book of Mormon was weird. Yeah, CDs. Apparently, I was told by an ex-Mormon in the comments that the tradition, at least, is that the tablets, the gold tablets, they weren't like oblong like I always envisioned them, or even like Gothic window shaped like the common depiction of the stone tablets of the Ten Commandments. Apparently, discs. Joseph Smith gone and dug up the world's first LPs, and they're gold coated or solid gold. Who knows? Y'all remember that weird moment there about 10 or 15 years ago where the hot new thing in audio technology was 24 karat gold plated compact discs? It was supposed to improve the sound for some reason. I've got one of those somewhere. I think it was Alan Parsons Project's Try Anything Once. How's that for a weird ass flight of ideas digression? We went from sunburn on Isaiah's dick to the Alan Parsons Project and did it in about a minute and a half. Improv Bible study with Junk Shop Library. All right. And so he goes and he prophesizes to the people. There's no record as to whether they took him seriously, this guy who's been wandering around stark butt-ass naked for the last 3 years and decides to come to them and say, hey, I've been wandering around the burning-ass desert TM for 3 fucking years, stark butt-ass naked as an object lesson. That's how your enemies are going to be carried away into captivity by the fucking Assyrians. Makes perfect sense, yes? His ways are not our ways, Mr. I am that I am. He works in mysterious ways, does Jehovah. I am the eye in the sky, looking at you, I can read. Thank you, Never Again. Thank you so much. I'm going to have that in my head for the next week. I appreciate you. It's just coffee, I promise. I know I'm a little manic today, but I'm just on the coffee. All right. Forget being Isaiah. Can you imagine being like Isaiah's next door neighbor? Isaiah walks out his front door one day, stark butt-ass naked, and starts pottering around in the garden, tending to the rose bushes or whatever. I've got this vision of his neighbor being Hyacinth Bouquet. Wouldn't you know it? Like, not only am I living next door to a prophet, but it's this kind of prophet. God damn it. All right. Well, that was a lot of improv to drag out a tiny little chapter 20. I wonder what's going to happen in chapter 21. Let's go. Chapter 21, the burden of the desert of the sea. The burden of the desert of the sea. As whirlwinds in the south pass through, so it cometh from the desert, from a terrible land. A grievous vision is declared unto me. The treacherous dealer dealeth treacherously, and the spoiler spoileth. Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media. All the sighing thereof have I made to cease. Therefore are my loins filled with pain. Pangs have taken hold upon me as the pangs of a woman that travaileth. I was bowed down at the hearing of it. I was dismayed at the seeing of it. My heart panted. Fearfulness affrighted me. The night of my pleasure hath he turned into fear unto me. Prepare the table. Watch in the watchtower. Eat, drink. Arise, ye princes, and anoint the shield. For thus hath the Lord said unto me, Go, set a watchman, let him declare what he seeth. And I saw a chariot with a couple of horsemen, a chariot of asses, and a chariot of camels, and he hearkened diligently with much heed. And he cried, A lion! My Lord, I stand continually upon the watchtower in the daytime, and I am set in my ward whole nights. And behold, here cometh a chariot of men. Where the couple of horsemen? And he answered and said, Babylon is fallen, and all the graven images of her gods he hath broken unto the ground. O my threshing, and the corn of my floor, that which I have heard of the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, have I declared unto you. The burden of Dumah. He calleth to me out of Seir, Watchman, what of the night? Watchman, what of the night? The watchman said, The morning cometh, and also the night. If ye will inquire, inquire ye. Return, come. The burden upon Arabia. In the forest in Arabia shall ye lodge, O ye traveling companions of Dedanim. The inhabitants of the land of Tamar brought water to him that was thirsty. They prevented with their bread him that fled. For they fled from the swords, from the drawn sword, and from the bent bow, and from the grievousness of war. For thus hath the Lord said unto me, Within a year, according to the years of an hireling, and all the glory of Kedar shall fall. And the residue of the number of archers, the mighty men of the children of Kedar, shall be diminished, for the Lord God of Israel hath spoken it. And that's all there is to chapter 21. It's going to be bad for more of Israel's enemies. And if anybody ever asks you whether or not the prophet Isaiah did indeed have a sunburn on his dick, as old Junkshop hath spake, you can refer them to Isaiah 21st chapter, 3rd verse. Therefore are my loins filled with pain. His loins were filled with pain right after he spent 3 years wandering around butt-ass naked in the burning-ass desert TM. All right, so a list of more places that Israel's up against that are going to have it rough in the days when Israel again rises to power. And also the desert of the sea. Now, we're about to have to do a moment of comparative translation because I can't tell in the King James of 1611 if that means like the desert of the sea, as in, you know, the salt water where nothing, you know, where it's just for fish, or whether it means the desert adjacent to the sea. So we're about to check another couple of translations and find out. We'll start with the International Children's Bible, perfect for kids 7 to 12. Isaiah. Ooh, this is Bible paper and no mistake. Y'all about to hear, some of y'all about to hear a noise that's going to bring back some memories. Right? Okay, 21. The message about the desert by the sea. Footnote, probably Babylon. Except that Babylon's further inland than Israel and Judah, isn't it? Unless Babylon extends like down, it would though, wouldn't it? The Babylonian Empire extended down to the Persian Gulf, so that would make sense. New International Study Bible. An oracle concerning the desert by the sea. The footnote reads, the coming judgment would eventually turn Babylon into a wasteland. And the sea refers either to the Persian Gulf, just south of Babylon, or to the alluvial plain deposited by the Euphrates and Tigris rivers and their tributaries. Which makes sense as well. Oh, the rap was in the closet. Sorry, Wonder Lady, I was reading fast and I misread that. I read it as, my cat is sleeping on my chiffon wrap. How she got out of my closet, I don't want to know. And I was like, who the fuck shuts up their cat in a closet? You big weirdo. All right, and now that's the NRS. Let's go back to the RSV here for a minute. Isaiah. Wow, lots of highlighting in Isaiah. I was big into Isaiah when I was a kid. All right, interesting. 40, 27, 23, 21. The oracle concerning the wilderness of the sea. No study note. Okay. All right, so the consensus, at least the consensus given unto us lay folk by the compilers and note makers of the various study Bibles available to me in this moment, is that it probably refers to Babylon, the desert of the sea. All right, 22. Julie says, the International Children's Bible freaks me out more than my book of Christian Mother Goose rhymes from childhood. Yeah, there's some weirdness. Those of y'all who were with me during the Song of Solomon remember how aggressively strange it was to hear Bronze Age softcore translated into appropriate for children ages 7 through 12 in the 1990s modern English. If you weren't with me during the Song of Solomon, there's a playlist on the homepage. 22. I've been without my glasses for so long, I keep forgetting to pick them up. Oh, Amiga Nuts, thank you for plugging that. I knew there was something I forgot to do a quick commercial for. Y'all bear with me 1 second while I do, because we got some new folks with us, relatively speaking. And who knows who's watching this in the future. We're currently sitting at 248 subscribers. We're on a drive to get to 250 by the end of the month. And YouTube's been on a kind of a follower purge. A lot of y'all are content creators, so a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about. Our numbers keep blopping back down. Hey, it is Wild Eden, a new friend of the channel and one of our newest Patreon members. Welcome. Good to see you, lady. How are you doing? And on the 20th of this month, that's the fourth Sunday of Advent, the Sunday immediately prior to Christmas, we're going to have a stream here on the channel that unfortunately it is too late to reschedule because I've been plugging it all this time. And only yesterday did I find out that I had inadvertently scheduled across a long anticipated stream of Math Pigs. So, sorry, brother. And y'all just have to figure out what you're going to do dealing with that. But here on the Junk Shop Library channel, we're going to be doing a taste test of communion bread in 3 different incarnations. We're going to have the little pillows that the Protestants like. We're going to have the little wafers that the Catholics like. And we're going to have the gluten-free version of the wafers, which will be stale by then, because as you may can see, they're labeled as being best before the 2nd of December of this year, and we're already past the 2nd. Oh, well. Like, how the fuck am I going to be able to tell a communion wafer is stale? Am I right? And if you've got suggestions for condiments with which I should try various communion wafers, let me know in the comments below. I'll try to accommodate as many of y'all as I can afford to do. All right, my poor little fallen apart ass Bible. Let's turn back to Isaiah and launch into chapter 22. Wonder Lady says they're, or Lavender Lady, I beg your pardon. Lavender Lady says they're made stale, and I suspect Lavender Lady to be correct. Isaiah, 22nd chapter. The burden of the valley of vision. What aileth thee now, that thou art wholly gone up to the housetops? Thou art full of stirs, a tumultuous city, a joyous city. Thy slain men are not slain with the sword, nor dead in battle. All thy rulers are fled together. They are bound by the archers. All that are found in thee are bound together, which have fled from far. Therefore said I, look away from me. I will weep bitterly. Labor not to comfort me because of the spoiling of the daughter of my people. For it is a day of trouble and of treading down and of perplexity by the Lord God of hosts in the valley of vision, breaking down the walls, and of crying to the mountains. And Elam bare the quiver with chariots of men and horsemen, and Kir uncovered the shield. And it shall come to pass that thy choicest valleys shall be full of chariots, and the horsemen shall set themselves in array at the gate. And he discovered the covering of Judah, and thou didst look in that day to the armor of the house of the forest. Ye have seen also the breaches of the city of David, that they are many, and ye gathered together the waters of the lower pool. And ye have numbered the houses of Jerusalem, and the houses have ye broken down to fortify the wall. Ye made also a ditch between the 2 walls for the water of the old pool, but ye have not looked unto the maker thereof, neither had respect unto him that fashioned it long ago. And in that day did the Lord God of hosts call to weeping, and to mourning, and to baldness, and to girding with sackcloth. And behold, joy and gladness, slaying oxen and killing sheep, eating flesh and drinking wine. Let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we shall die. And it was revealed in mine ears by the Lord of hosts, surely this iniquity shall not be purged from you till ye die, saith the Lord God of hosts. Thus saith the Lord God of hosts, go, get thee unto this treasurer, even unto Shebna, which is over the house, and say, what hast thou here? And whom hast thou here, that thou hast hewed thee out a sepulchre here, as he that heweth him out a sepulchre on high, and that graveth an habitation for himself in a rock? Behold, the Lord will carry thee away with a mighty captivity, and will surely cover thee. He will surely violently turn, and toss thee like a ball into a large country. There shalt thou die, and there the chariots of thy glory shall be the shame of thy father's house. And I will drive thee from thy station, and from thy state shall he pull thee down. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will call my servant Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, and I will clothe him with thy robe, and strengthen him with thy girdle, and I will commit thy government into his hand. And he shall be a father to the inhabitants of Jerusalem and the house of David, of Judah. And the key of the house of David will I lay upon his shoulder. So shall he open, and none shall shut. And he shall shut, and none shall open. And I will fasten him as a nail in a sure place. And he shall be for a glorious throne to his father's house. And they shall hang upon him all the glory of his father's house, the offspring and the issue, all vessels of small quantity, from the vessels of cups even to the vessels of flagons. In that day, saith the Lord of hosts, shall the nail that is fastened in the sure place be removed, and be cut down, and fall, and the burden that was upon it shall be cut off, for the Lord hath spoken it. And there we've chapter 22. All right. Well, it don't do to piss off the Yahweh, does it? Hey, nerdy rodent, how's it going? Okay, well, I'll be honest. I had no idea that eat and drink for tomorrow we die was from the Bible. I didn't know that. Maybe I should have known that, but I didn't. Okay, so Isaiah is told to go to Mr. Shebna, the accountant. And he goes and says, hey, this construction work that's going on over here, God says it's bad. And reading between the lines, I can at least see the apologetics explanation of this, because it sounds like a hark back to the story of Gideon, way back yonder in Judges. If you weren't with me during the book of Judges, there's a playlist linked on the homepage. Because one of the things that Yahweh does not like at all is putting your faith in other shit if he hasn't specifically told you to. So they've torn down all of their houses to make a second wall and fill in a moat between the new wall and the old wall as a defense against, I think we're still dealing with the onslaught of the Assyrian at this point. So God says, God says to Isaiah to go tell Shebna that they're putting their faith in the wrong thing, and they're going to get their asses smoked as a result. Smoked, driven into the wilderness, and carried away into captivity. And somebody else is going to be put on the throne instead. Somebody who will do what they're told. And great tribute will be given to him. But the current rulers, oh, they're in trouble. proceeds to go on at some length, explaining exactly how much trouble and exactly how much tribute, not respectively, but the other way around. And that's the end of the chapter. Mr. Isaiah picks weird things to go on and on about, does he not? If there's one major criticism I'd give of the book of Isaiah, well, if there's only one I can give to the book of Isaiah, it's that it's shot absolutely bloody full of the same sort of painfully, and I won't even dignify it with a long word like misogynistic, but the same painfully anti-woman crap that's scattershot through the entirety of the rest of the book. You're gonna be beat so bad you'll end up like a woman. What the fuck was that supposed to mean anyway? Like what, with black eyes and a broken spirit? Bronze Age man has some stuff to answer for some of the stuff that he has passed down to us. Well, there's that too. Nerdy Rodent points out that his major criticism is that the book of Isaiah is just a load of nonsense. Also a fair point. I don't remember if that was in Ecclesiastes or not, the eat, drink, for tomorrow we die. I'd be interested to know where the be merry part crept into the phrasing. Because that's how I'm used to hearing it. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. Eat and drink, for tomorrow we die is... I got stumbled up on my tongue there reading that, because it said eat, drink, and I could sort of see the rest of the next line out of the corner of my eye. And it was like, oh, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. This is where this comes from, the book of Isaiah. I had no fucking clue. And then the be merry wasn't there. Just feast. I wonder if you can feast in a somber fashion. Amiga Nuts does point out that, to be fair, he was hearing voices and walked the desert for a few years, naked. Just saying. That's a good point. That's a good point. And yes, I'm going to go ahead and pull that up because Julie's correct. Isn't Isaiah the book apologists used to say, see, he's talking about Jesus? Yes, it is. Apologists love little cherry-picked out parts of the book of Isaiah. And they're not greatly fussed about whether it's in the future tense or the past tense. Apologists are so in love with Isaiah that they will go into verses in Isaiah that are written in the past tense. All right? A book that was written before Jesus, talking about something that happened in the past, and say it's a prophecy of Jesus. We got into this a little bit over on Knox channel the other night when he was dealing with known quantity Otangelo. Otangelo was dragging out little cherry-picked fragments of the book of Isaiah to say that the fact that Jesus got killed and then the Shroud of Turin existed was proof that Isaiah was a prophet of the Lord. It was an interesting experience. If you hadn't seen that video, it's worth a watch. Who got smite? Says Greg. Greg apparently left us for a while. Let's see. The Desert of the Sea and Egypt. You were here with us at the beginning, and the first chapter was dealing with Egypt. And several folk got smoked. And some just general regions of the world got smoked too. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I sort of get the sense, trying to read between the lines, that this chapter is about sort of resting on your laurels. Oh, Diana found it in Ecclesiastes. So I commend, oh, there we go, yeah. So I commend the enjoyment of life, because there is nothing better for a person under the sun than to eat and drink and be glad. Okay, so that's where the be merry comes from. So we may be, the saying, the eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die, may be a conflation then, I guess, of the Ecclesiastes passage and the Isaiah passage. Interesting. Interesting. Well, in theory, points out Never Again, that Isaiah's dick was smoked too. In a manner of speaking, yes, smoked by the sun. Hey, Dr. Fearsome, good to see you. We were just getting ready to wrap up, to be perfectly honest. We just crossed over the top of the hour, and I was having so much fun talking about smiting and sunburned dicks that I forgot what time it was. Go back and watch the episode if you don't have any fucking clue what I'm talking about. Well, that was fun. Thank y'all so much for joining me today. I did not anticipate having as much of a blast as I did. If you enjoyed your time here with me today, we'll be doing more of Isaiah at the same time on Wednesday. That'll be 3 p.m. Central. We'll be live streaming on Wednesday and Friday of this week, still in the book of Isaiah. This coming up Saturday, as I mentioned at the top of the stream, we'll be diving into the actual text of the Book of Mormon. We're reading our way through it, looking to go cover to cover at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays. It was great fun. We had a lot of fun in the chat. We had a lot of fun with the text. Those of y'all who thought the book of Isaiah was batshit ain't got nothing on the Book of Mormon. And we're through the front matter. The testimony of the 3 witnesses, the testimony of Joseph Smith, the testimony of the 8 witnesses, and now we're about to launch into the actual golden plates. Hey, for no reason, right here as we're wrapping up. So sorry, my notifications are jacked up all to hell again, apparently. So yeah, thank y'all all for being here with me today. If you enjoyed what you found, hit that subscribe button down below. We are on a drive to get to 250 subscribers by the end of the month. If you want to support the channel in a monetary fashion, I do have a Patreon account, and for as little as $1 a month, you can sign on to funnel Coin of the Realm into the pockets of the library. Of course, no pressure to do that, because things is tight as fuck for everybody right now. So don't even think I'm trying to bring pressure. I just gotta hustle, and y'all know how it is. All right. Well, as we always say before we roll out of here, where's my banner? There we go. As we always say before we roll out of here, everybody take care and be safe and stand against hate. We'll see y'all again soon. Oh, and if you just can't get enough of Junk Shop on Junk Shop's channel, check in with us tomorrow at noon Eastern over on The Rage. We're tearing Matt Powell's terrible, terrible movie, A New Asshole. See ya.